Louie was born in Italy after the Second World War and grew up on a small farm in the Tuscany region that his parents owned. Life wasn't easy, and the family struggled to make ends meet.
We had 2 cows and then 5 or 6 maybe actors, maybe 10 acres of land that we lived off, and we farmed everything, corn and wine and wheat, all by hand. So we didn't have any tools of any kind, nothing. My mother was very religious, so she decided to put me in a seminary to become a priest, you see. It wasn't for me, so finally I got a few fights and they locked me up in this room with a gate. I started shaking it, the gate, and the cement was all that started to move, to get loose. So every day, instead of doing the study, I just shook it. This gate, shook it and shook it and shook it. Finally one day, down it went. And I took off. I was going to walk home. I was 50 kilometers away. I didn't know how. I had no money. I just, a pair of shoes on. I was going to walk home. So one of the monks came with a bike, talked to me, come up, okay, we'll phone your father, we're going to send him a telegram. So they did, and that's how I got out of the monastery. So without memory, at 19, life was pretty tough for us then. There really was nothing inside. And so I decided to immigrate. Come for a while, make some money and go back.
Ever since he immigrated from Italy, the original reason he immigrated was to try and provide for his family, try and help his parents, because after the war, there wasn't a lot of opportunity in Italy.
But then when I came here, I soon realized that how good this country is and how much money you can make, and not that difficult really. So I'm still here. When you cannot speak English, when you cannot write, you cannot read, your chances are not that many. And driving a truck is was the easiest thing for me to do, because what else could I do? One day, just it snowed, and I was going too fast down a hill, and I rolled the truck, and it landed against a tree. So I had big boots on it. I kicked the windshield out and got out of the truck. But while I was rolling, the side door came open and got all smashed. So I pulled the truck up, fixed it up a little bit, but I didn't have the money to buy a side door. So I drove it all winter without a side door. It was cold. All winter without a side door. So in Virgin, there was this guy by Coleman Carriage. Since Coleman, he owned it, the trans between Virgin and Winnipeg. In those days, the entry was controlled, not like now. So I bought him, and I paid him $93,000 in 1963, 5 trucks and one building. And when I think about it, really, I think the guy thought I was going to go broke and he's going to get it back, First of all, I never thought it'd get this big, okay? I had a dream, I decided to stay. I wasn't going to be poor. I was going to make some money. So my dream is the same dream as everyone else has. Wants to make money, wants to make $1 million. But then, in order to achieve that, you also got to have a vision and a plan how to execute it. And then I learned trucking business and expanded over the years and to what the transaction is today.
Well, he's always been very, like I said, long-sighted, or can see into the future, and is great at planning. So obviously he can't get things done without people. He strongly believes in people and putting together the right team or the right people at the right place at the right time with the skill sets in order to get what needs to get done.
In Brandon, we're making money, so I bought a bunch of trucks and trailers and decided to pay them in 3 years. It was too fast. I couldn't make the payment, so the banker was after me. There was a lady in the office. It was a small office in Brandon, about 6, 7 people, 8 people maybe, and charged her the payroll. And this lady come in my office, shuts the door, and says to me, Willie and I have $8,000 in the bank, and we decided we want to give it to you. You give it to me. Yeah. And you want it back? Well, you'll give us back. You'll give it back. Just think about that kind of, you never forget this thing. She retired in '85. She passed away last month at 101. she was still on a pillow. Those things you really don't forget, eh? There's going to be some setbacks, and you got to learn from the setbacks. You got to learn from your mistakes, you know. And you gotta know what you don't know. That's the key. Probably not what you don't know. Maybe it's wrong wording. You got to know what you don't know enough.
In 1999, Louie achieved one of his main life goals when he established a vineyard near his hometown in Tuscany. Bob Silver met Louie while bidding on a trip to the vineyard at a fundraiser.
I do remember bidding on this trip and sitting beside Louie, and he was egging me on and saying things like, if you come there, you can drive the Ferrari. By the time the bidding was over, I had bid about 4 times what the trip was worth.
Bought it in 99 and we started planting in 2000. So, and you know, whatever I bought, I started from scratch. I tore everything down. Even the winery was a villa. So I emptied and put the new machine in it. The house where we live, it's 600 years old, was dilapidated, so we rebuilt it from, you know, just the walls and the floors are the same, and everything else is redone. So the winery is state of the art.
The first impression I got is he was up at 6 o'clock in the fields. It was harvest time, and he was taking part of the harvest. He was willing to do anything that he asked anybody else to do. Louie has never stopped giving me advice, and he's never stopped trying to push me to do things that are important for the community. He's never stopped. But tongue-in-cheek, the best advice he's given me, he says, there's 3 things you never do, Bob. You don't tell people how much money you have, you don't tell people how smart you are, and you don't tell people who you slept with. And that's about the best advice you could give anyone.
Making great wine is one of Louie's passions in life. Another is his commitment to his family.
Family is extremely important to Louie. It has been ever since I've known him. It's always come over, what do you need, how much time do you need, no matter what it is that he's looking for. He's extremely proud of his family, and I think he really wants his family to be successful.
Growing up with my grandpa, I wouldn't say it was like my relationship with my other grandfather, or probably like most relationships with grandfathers. He was very energetic, very young at heart. He loved to teach. My first job that I had was at Transvex, actually. It was summer when I was 16. And my grandfather wanted me to definitely start at the bottom of the company. So I was hand bombing trucks at grocery warehouses. And it was not the most pleasant work I ever had, but I think that was the idea. And so actually when I went back to high school the following year, my grandpa asked me, you know, aren't you happy to be in high school and not loading trucks all winter too? And it did kind of ring home, so he definitely proved his point, I would say.
We had the opportunity of surprising him for his 80th birthday at our house just last month. After he got over the shock, you could see him getting taller and taller and swelling with the love that he had in that room, because his entire family was there. And you could see how much it meant to him.